fellow seekers. Welcome to the Seeker's Path with Dr. Innes. I'm Dr. Innes. I'm going to share a little about my story. I made the title "To Be or Not to Be" because I think it's one of the things we humans struggle with our whole life. Well, maybe not everybody struggles. Some people start out clear, but I'm one of the people who has struggled. I had a sense early in my life that I was a healer and a teacher. And that has been a thread through my whole life. And I've been through a couple different careers, and I'm starting a new one now, essentially. But I want to tell you more about the process, especially the last few years. I've always struggled, a little perfectionism, trying to meet the expectations of the people around me, the culture. I wanted to be good at whatever job I did. I wanted people to like me. That's all fine. But I manipulated myself to be who I thought they wanted me to be, and it's taken me a long time growing into being my true self and living the way I really feel called to by the universe, by the divine. In my current last profession as a psychologist, I was in private practice, seeing therapy clients, which was great in so many ways. I also struggled with a lot of things about the structures imposed on the profession. And I didn't always feel free to be how I wanted to be and do my work the way I wanted to do it. I also had a really hard time living my lifestyle because I felt so much stress, really. I'm very familiar with depression, anxiety, stress, and I really believe that comes from not being who we really are and really living in the ways that we feel called to be our best selves. And I wasn't either. In 2020, when the pandemic started, that, despite all the difficulties in the world, all the pain and craziness in the world, I was really happy that year because it kind of forced me into a smaller life that created a lot more time and space on my calendar. And that freed up some energy for me to do things like go to the woods most days. I was getting a lot of exercise. I had my COVID pod, and that was really satisfying and supportive, satisfying emotionally, intellectually, and it was very supportive of my process. And I also I took a lot of time off that year, a lot more than I've ever taken, to allow for creative space, time in nature, which is that's my church, that's my spiritual place. So, and then, things kind of slowly shifted back to the way they had been. And so I felt trapped in many ways. And talking with some friends of mine and talking about how powerful being in nature was for me, especially all those weeks I took off in 2020, camping, etc. So I had this dream of having a trailer. I did it with my family when I was a kid. We traveled a lot in the summer and spent a lot of time in national parks. It was amazing for me. It's good for my soul. I wanted to recreate that in my own way. So I decided to buy a trailer, and I picked out this little bitty one that was affordable. and I had to get a vehicle to tow it. I, I put a deposit down on the trailer, but I didn't know how it was going to happen. And I had to wait 15 months to get that trailer. I was due to pick it up January 9th of 2023. And I needed every bit of those 15 months to get myself mentally, emotionally, psychologically ready for that, what it would mean. I was after freedom. That's one of my highest values. And so I had to work out the money things and how do I do this on my own and what will it be like traveling and on and on and on and on. But I had this glimmer. I I had this glimmer of excitement and knowingness that this was really good for me. And I was terrified by the unknowns. So I used all my resources, my people, the people who love me and challenge me and grow me during that whole time. And it was deep spiritual work getting ready for that. It might seem silly, but it took deep spiritual work for me to get ready for this thing that I felt called to do, that I felt like I needed to do, that I felt like was moving me toward whatever my next version of myself was going to be, a whole new phase in life. It was, and when I picked up that trailer, January 9th of last year, 2023, I was beginning my 60th year of life. I got in the car right before New Year's 2022 with my 2 cats and all the equipment I could cram into the car. The financing of the trailer didn't happen till the very last minute, and it was scary. And I got in the car and drove from Washington to Texas to pick up that little trailer, and I traveled for 3 months. The first part, my brother and sister-in-law were traveling with me in their RV, and then I was on my own. And I went to some amazing places. I still can put myself in one particular campground. The desert isn't my place, but I can appreciate the beauty. And where I was camped was over this big reservoir. So in the morning, I would wake up, I could see the sun rising over the mountains just on the other side of the reservoir. And then at night, I could look out my other window and see the sunset. And I would get serenaded every night when I was going to bed. I got serenaded by owls and coyotes and wild burros. And it was amazing. It was amazing. And I will say simply, it changed my life. And I will talk more about that in the next video. Remember, love yourself, act like it, share it, and that will change the world. Be well.